Check, check, mic check. All right, here we go. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody had a fantastic day today, and glad we can spend some time this evening and take a look at the markets. So we had a doozy of a day today, and tomorrow there's literally nothing but the Fed Harker speaking at 9 o'clock in the morning. So plenty of volatility today, and hopefully you have had a chance to partake in some of it. If not, that's okay too. Today was a quite difficult day to trade, and let's go look at the markets to see why that is. Let's go over to here. And I also want to, we'll pull dollar out when it gets there. When we get to the daily, we'll pull it out. Okay, so weekly chart is where we're going to start today, considering it's Thursday, right? So remember, the power of three. There's always an open, a high, a low, and then there's going to be a close this week on Friday. This candle could look markedly different, by the way, at the end of Friday, but I am still led to believe that my bias is still to the downside. We haven't taken this out on NASDAQ just yet, and we formed relative equal lows here. Let's go down to the, well, one thing to point out. These two are relative equal lows, so that's sell side liquidity right now that I think it's gonna aim for tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna go all the way down into here. That would be a stretch, but hey, it's very possible, right? So that's where the weekly has been forming. That's what we've been talking about this entire time. It formed a higher high, potentially, or sorry, a lower high, potentially. And now we're on the daily chart. We can see a little bit more here. And a lot of these lines are going to be very difficult to follow, but I'm going to actually take some of these off soon. But you can see how this is the current new week opening gap. We've traded up, and then we traded down, and then today we traded further down. So I would expect us to head for the 50% mark of this wick here, and which is coincidentally the top quadrant of this volume imbalance, weekly volume imbalance here. So that's what I think we'll be looking for. If it has fervor, then obviously 14,587.25 would be the next low that I would aim for. So one thing I want to bring over though, I want to bring over the daily dollar index. So this is the same chart, just like a different chart, DXY. Yesterday we had dollar go up and then come all the way down and then end lower. What is bad about that is that you can kind of see that it ran in concert pretty much with the index, and typically they are contrasting items. So that leads me to believe that there's a little something else going on. The markets aren't in motion with each other, so it's a little bit more difficult of a read right now. So keep that in mind. Okay. So on today, we saw it reach further. We saw it reach for a lower time frame. On a lower time frame, we saw it reach for some of these blue buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiencies. So we're gonna point those out on the hourly, but keep in mind the ultimate sell side liquidity that we're looking for is still down here. Let's go down to an hourly. Okay. So this is an hourly. You can kind of see how we knew it was going to run for this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and run it did. It actually ran through it and then ran to the other one as well. And right now Asia is kind of consolidating in a small little range. So tomorrow, I think that, you know, we might head back up into this fair value gap here. I don't see one on the hourly up here, but it's very possible. There's another short-term high, a lower high that formed. And there's a bunch of sitting liquidity at 14,587. So I think market makers would want to go grab that liquidity there, engineer liquidity basically. But we'll see, it doesn't have to go all the way down there, but I think it does need to drop a little bit more. So we'll see what happens on tomorrow. I am insanely tired today. I've only gotten about 2 or 3 hours of sleep last night because of our main job. And coincidentally, sad to say, I blew some accounts today. But not the ones that I was working on. Some new ones that were at 0 that I decided to trade. And fortunately, the combination of tiredness as well as lack of discipline in getting into some of those really led to poor decisions, correct bias, poor decisions on entries, getting stopped out, getting, having meetings, being tired. So that is one of the really difficult things to admit to, but I mean, you just can't trade when you're tired. When you're this tired, exhausted, it's impossible to trade and be able to think clearly what you need to do for these markets. So that's okay. I still have 16 accounts. I'm gonna continue to slowly build those, and I probably won't do this forever, but you can kind of see. I'll show it this one time. Actually, let me take a screenshot of this so it's not like giving any of my info away, although it's probably out there anyways. But so I'm not going to show this actually, but on the 3 drawdown accounts, those were drawn down to minus 1500, minus 1500, and minus 2450, I believe. And the update on those, the P&L now is minus 900, minus 970, and minus 2200 basically. So I was 1 or 2 trades away from blowing the account, and I have been successfully clawing my way back and risking very little, risking 1% in order to gain 3. So that has allowed me to stay in the game. And outside of that, I've got a few other accounts that are sitting around positive $200. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on building slowly with them and continue to build slowly with proper risk management, and I will no longer trade while super tired. So let's take a look into this area. So during London, right? Clearly see during London that we have this low here. That happens to be a relative equal low with this one down here. So that's led me to believe that price was going to head down that way at some point after taking buy side liquidity. So what gets taken here? Well, this one gets taken. 15,073. 15,088.75 also gets taken. New week opening gap low, new week opening gap high gets taken. An old new week opening gap high also almost gets taken. So there's a lot of things to the upside that waiting for confirmation was really key. And excuse me. Waiting for confirmation was really key, and being able to be there when the trade occurs also very key. You increase your risk substantially when you try and take a trade midway through the run. Not saying you can't, I haven't done it or you can't do it, but as long as you see your setup, you're golden, right? So let's look at and see what happened on the lower time frames. So we're going to go down to a 5-minute this time. Okay, so on the 5-minute, you can kind of see here where price just wicked up wicked down, no respect to the fair value gaps, wicked up again, rejection block, whipped down, whipped up, and then continue downwards. And it doesn't exactly go all the way down until it stops all the like the previous sell orders out, and then it rockets above new week opening low and new week opening high. Let's see. Yeah, this afternoon was a rough one. I mean, you could have only traded maybe turtle soups and been profitable. I think that's maybe the only thing that could have made money today, or one of the few. I'm gonna go back and study this again. I mean, this was a really tough day. I need to understand my psyche, why I was trading the way I did. I had some really good ones, and I was actually positive in that one account first. So greed got to me. So outside of that, there's really nothing else that that people are looking for. So I don't see anything else, at least. So I think let's go back to daily. Okay. Okay, so we definitely see that daily's reaching towards these bottom two. I hope it doesn't complete in London, but hopefully it does as well. But yeah, man, my brain is fried. I apologize. This is why you don't do anything when you're tired. So for tomorrow, we know that we're still aiming downwards towards this volume imbalance here and this sell side liquidity. So look for returns back up to fair value gaps for some situations where you can go take a look and see if there's any imbalance within the higher premium target candles. Oof. And then we want to see a lower low. We want to see it happen fairly quickly, I would say. And then TGIF Friday, kind of model. You're gonna need to make sure you have a TGIF person on your team, and then he or she will explain that at the end of a run for the week, price is willing to permit a safe pin. I guess, how do I describe it? I forget what I was talking about. This is a really bad stream. Sorry about that. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I mean, I'm not in obviously I'm not in a mind space to be able to call price. And so I think the best lesson from today's is just to go finish your stuff, get to sleep, rest up, and tomorrow we'll have a new day. So my bias is lower, but I'd have to go pinpoint some levels, and my brain and concentration just isn't there yet today. So so get some sleep too. I hope you can get some sleep, and we will catch up in the morning for market review. All right. Have a good night. See ya. Oh, last bit. I think I saw that we're at 220 or so subscribers. Thank you very much for those new subscribers. If you're watching this the whole way, I appreciate you. And drop in comments if there's anything that I could explain better, or I can maybe re-record some of these. I know today's I wish I could, but that's why this is raw. This is out there. You can't fix this. You can't like fake this stuff. If I lose, I lose, right? So yeah, I think that's it. Bias is still downwards until proven differently, and that's I think that's really it. All right, team. Well, good luck tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, one economic event, and we will catch up more tomorrow. Have a good night.